Oh, good afternoon. I didn't see you there. I'm Geoffrey Chaucer, and it's about time that I tell you guys a little about my friend, the Cleric.
Hello all, I'm the Cleric from Oxford, and now it's time to tell my tale. Here it begins. In western Italy, there was once lied a country called Saluzzo. A handsome, strong, and noble marquis ruled this land, and his name was Walter. Walter was beloved by his people, all of which were ready to do his every bidding. He just had one fault. He only looked at the immediate future. As a result, had not yet married. One day, the people of Saluzzo came to the marquis and begged him to take a new wife, a wife at all, for they were worried he would be without an heir. Pitying the people's sad faces, the marquis said,
"My own dear people, I have rejoiced in my freedom, but I see the truth in your suggestion. So, of my own free will, I shall marry. But I will choose my own wife, and you should be pleased with it, for I am still your lord."
People rejoiced and requested a date to be set, which the marquis agreed to, and the extravagant preparations began. In a small village not far from the palace lived an extremely poor man, Nicola, and his daughter, Griselda. Griselda was pleasing enough to the eye, but she was beautiful in soul. She was selfless, always devoted to her father and her work. The marquis had often passed young Griselda and admired her for her virtues and womanhood. He decided he would only marry her.
Janicula, I must marry your daughter. Do I have your blessing? Oh, my dear lord, whatever pleases you. Well, we shall ask her together if this is what she wishes. Okay. Griselda, it is my heart's desire to marry you, and I suspect it is yours as well. But first, you must agree to several things. Will you submit to my every desire? Will you always do exactly as I say, no matter the pain, as it is my liberty as your lord?
Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. I mean that I shall marry you, but your desire is mine. I will never disobey you.
That could be a problem.
The marquis announced his decision to the people and demanded their approval. Immediately, he had Griselda's nasty rags torn off her and all her belongings left behind. She was instead so richly dressed, the people scarcely recognized her for her beauty. Soon after the marriage, Griselda bore a daughter. And then the citizens of Saluzzo rejoiced in the new family, and they lived happily ever after. Until...
Go.
I'm in the mood to test my wife's steadfastness. What to do? I know! Hey, honey. Sorry to break it to you, but everybody hates you. Especially since you've given birth to our daughter. Now, I hate to do this, but we must dispose of our daughter. I'm sure you'll understand, for you are obedient, right?
Whatever pleases you, my lord. I am devoted, obedient, steadfast, unwavering, and only fear losing you, my lord. My will is your will.
Sorry, I must take your baby now.
I only request one thing, that my baby shall be properly buried and not devoured by beasts. Bless you, sweet child of mine.
Griselda's love for Walty didn't interfere with her motherly instincts, but of course she did sign up for this. And who gives women's rights anyway?
Take my child to live with my sister, the Countess, and tell her to rear my child as one well born, but keep her unknown for patronage. Okay.
Much to his delight, the marquis noticed that Griselda remained unchanged and never mentioned his daughter or showed any related sadness, passing the test. 4 years later, Griselda bore a son. I did it.
I've sat idle for too long. Time to test Griselda's steadfastness again.
So, under the pretense of an unhappy kingdom. The Marquis once again pretended to kill Griselda's son. And also, once again, Griselda was unwavering in her faithfulness to her husband. If the Marquis did not already know, Griselda loved her children greatly. He would... Sorry, something in my throat. He would have questioned whether her heart was made of stone.
She passed with flying colors.
Several years later, because Griselda had not already proved her steadfastness, the Marquis decided to test her again.
For my final and greatest test, I shall pretend to divorce Griselda and marry my own daughter. I must send for my son and daughter right away, and write to the Pope to get the annulment approved. This should be fun.
But be careful, Walter. People are starting to hate you. Can't see why they would dislike a baby murderer. Action.
Sorry, darling, but the people still hate you, and I must remarry. But I will allow you to take your dowry back with you.
What a nice guy. He'll give her back the rags she came in. That's a fair trade for 2 children and years of devotedness. Go.
Whatever you wish, my lord. I have never been worthy to be your wife, and I thank you for the time I spent here. When I came, I only brought some rags and my virginity. Though I cannot take back my virginity, I would like to take back my rags so I may have something to wear home. I shall never cease to serve you, my lord.
Griselda returned to a humble home. The people of the kingdom were very sad, but Griselda remained a humble, steadfast woman.
I knew once he had satisfied his physical desires with you, you would be returned to this lowly home once again. Yeah, pop a few babies out and she's back to the dump she came from.
Oh, my kid!
Marquis arrived. And of course, the people were pleased with her and quickly forgot Griselda, for she was so beautiful, young, and well born.
Yes, beauty is the most important quality in a leader. Oh, what interest is this impending incest?
The Marquis called Griselda back to the palace to help with the wedding.
Go.
Griselda, because you know my every desire, would you consider returning to the palace to help prepare for my wedding?
Of course, I would relish the honor. I live only to fulfill your will.
Now that's a healthy relationship.
Griselda worked very hard to prepare for the wedding. She remained unembarrassed by her humble dress and lowly position, despite the wealth and status she once enjoyed. The wedding day arrived, and all was set for the Marquis to take his new child bride. As the ceremony was about to begin,
Griselda!
Wait.
More like Stella! Ring any bells? Griselda's return to a husband after this terrible treatment of her is similar to the relationship between Stanley and Stella in Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire. Both women undergo uncalled for abuse, but remain obedient to their husbands. A go.
This was all a test to prove your faith and kindness in both poverty and high place. You are still my wife, and this young woman is actually my daughter, and this our son. I had my sister raise them in Bologna until I knew your resolution and all of your qualities, as any good father would do. And now our family can be reunited.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you. What a wonderful lord you are. I am so unworthy of your love. But I shall continue to serve you for as long as I live.
they lived forever in great happiness. His daughter married richly, and the son married well, although he never tested his wife.
How could his marriage ever be successful without all these tests?
This story was not written so everyone could be as humble in marriage as Griselda. but that we may learn to be steadfast in adversity. We must employ these qualities when worshipping our God, for he tests us often despite knowing our weaknesses before we are even born.
Now, in all seriousness, no one as humble as Griselda could ever exist, nor should they. Also, no man shall ever be as harsh as a marquis. Never stay silent in the face of injustice. Do not fear overbearing men or pay them undue respect, but stand up for your rights. Be fierce as a tiger, yonder in India. Show those men your fine qualities, and they shall respect you. Now let's look at some similarities between this tale and a more modern work. Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale has many parallels to the Cleric's Tale. Both the women in Gilead and Griselda find themselves at the mercy of men in their lives and succumb to the men's wishes rather than retaliating against this injustice. Many of the women in The Handmaid's Tale are brainwashed to the point of believing that men are indeed superior to them and deserve to be served, much like Griselda's impractical devotion to the Marquis. Furthermore, children are taken from the mothers of many women in Gilead, similar to the Marquis's removal of Griselda's children.
And now, what you've all been waiting for, an exclusive Q&A with the one, the only, Chaucer.
Yes, I have a few questions for our wonderful audience. Let's start off with the dawdle. What were Marquis' 3 tests for Griselda? Okay, great job, folks. What does steadfast mean, and how does Griselda demonstrate this in the tale? Tip-top job, ladies and gentlemen. What religious themes was the cleric hoping to impress upon his audience? Does he use any allusions? How does this fit his profession? How do I, as Chaucer, feel about Griselda's actions? How do I illustrate my point of view? Hopefully this last question doesn't leave you gobsmacked. What are the themes, and are they still relevant today? Thanks for listening, and thank you from our sponsor, Tom Felicia. And thanks again for reading my greatest work, Canterbury Tales. This is Geoffrey Chaucer signing off.